Hey, welcome back. It's been about a week since I shared an initial video talking about what's going on in ReaMOD, and I've been hard at work streamlining workflows, adding new features, tracing down bugs, and developing some new ones. And so I thought it was time for me to share another video talking about what's going on with ReaMOD so that you stay in the know. So starting with a bunch of things that I added. The first thing is that I added muting and soloing both at the track level as well as at the item level to work as expected. So if you're in Reaper and I solo a parent folder, then when I play back my session, any events that are contained on tracks inside of that parent folder will play back. Unless a track is muted, then that child track will not play back. If I solo a track, just like in the rest of Reaper, it will override the mute status of that track, and so now, in this case, both the parent and the children tracks of weapons here would play under this circumstance. So I can also solo individual tracks, and that will allow any events on that track to be triggered. In addition to that, I've also got it set up so that if you mute a item in Reaper, that when it plays back, any muted item will not trigger an FMOD event or snapshot or parameter update. So that's the first update. Second update is that I've added a global parameter control section to the GUI of ReaMOD. So as soon as I've loaded up an FMOD project, if that FMOD project contains any global parameters, then this section will display here. And the first thing that this section attempts to do is to understand your naming convention. It's not a very complicated algorithm that's doing this. It's just looking for the first underscore. And if it finds an underscore, then it breaks apart the name and assumes that the first part of that is the prefix for the parameter or global parameter, and the second part of it is the name of that global parameter here. So you can see I've got two groups that were created, one that I've got for bus levels and another assigned to players. If it doesn't find an underscore, then it will put them in a general category of parameters. So just a kind of way of organizing things there. And these global parameters, they take effect in real time. So if your project's playing back in Reaper, as you adjust these, they will be updated in real time with the FMOD system. And a future goal for this global parameters section, which was going to be one of the things that I talk about at the end of this video, which is in development features. But one of the in development features for this is adding automation lanes that will control any of these global parameters on the track level within the timeline in Reaper. So that's the global parameter section. The next one, this is one of my favorite features that I wanted from the beginning of thinking about ReaMOD, and that's that I've added a search window. So I've assigned it to the keyboard shortcut Control-Shift-F, but it's just a custom action in Reaper that toggles the visibility of this window. And when it pops open, it focuses a text field here, and I can just start typing. So let's say I'm looking for stuff associated with my player. You'll see that if I type in player, then it finds all the events associated with the player. If I type in ambience, you see it finds all my ambience. If I type in weapons, all my weapons. So you can just start typing and it automatically will provide you with suggested search results based upon what you typed. And then if I use the up and down arrow keys here, let's get a few more on the screen there. If I use the up and down arrow keys, I can navigate through that list of suggestions. And if I leave one highlighted and I hit return, that becomes the selected event over here on the left-hand side of the GUI. So that's the search window. Related to that, I've added a new custom action called play stop that allows me to play or stop the selected event. So if I open up Reaper's action menu and I search here for ReaMOD, you'll see that there's a new custom action here, play stop current selected event, which I've assigned to the keyboard shortcut Control and the tilde key. So the idea here is that I can search for an event like pistol, and then once that event is selected, then I can run that custom action to play and stop that selected event. kind of audition, was that the one I'm looking for, or whatever I need to do it for. All right, so that's that action. Next is I added an item notes editor to the GUI. The reason for this is that ReaMOD uses item notes to update any parameters for an event instance before the event instance is played, so that if you needed to set any of its local or global parameters to any other value other than their defaults at the beginning of its playback, you would use event notes to do that. And because of a feature that I'll talk about in a minute here, I could no longer use empty items in Reaper. I needed to switch to using empty MIDI items in Reaper. And so that meant that I could no longer display the item notes over the top of the item. And so now I've got it set up that whatever item you click on, you can see the item notes displayed over here, and you can actually edit those item notes right from here and just click the Save button to update the item note within the selected item. So that makes it really easy to do that. All right, that brings me to things that are in development, and then last thing I just want to give is a demo of workflow. Things that are in development is that I've been working on a way to automate local parameters for an event, so that if a single instance was playing back, there would be an intuitive way to update the value of that single instance's parameters in a way that just made sense. So to me, the most obvious way of doing this was to use take envelopes, so automations that occur inside of an item in Reaper rather than on the track level. So the way this can work is, let's say I know that I want to fill this space here with my forest ambience. I'll first pop open the search box, I'll search for forest ambience, I'll have that be the selected item, and then because I've already got the track selected and a timeline or time range selection selected, I'll just run the action that inserts the selected event on the selected track for the selected time frame. And so we can see we've got forest ambience now sitting there. And so now let's say that I want to be able to have the wind and maybe the rain increase over the duration of this item. That I've added a custom action here that is insert parameter envelopes for selected FMOD event on selected media item, which I was assigned to the keyboard shortcut Command Option Control E. So if I run that custom action, you'll see that now the effects button has turned on for this item, letting me know that there has now been an effect inserted on this item. If I open up the effects window for that item, we can see that it's created a custom JSFX item, or it's just a custom JSFX that has sliders with the names and value ranges that match the names and value ranges of the local parameters associated with that FMOD event. So what that allows me to do now is to open up the envelopes window here, and I can see that JSFX on there. And if I open it up, I can make visible and edit the envelopes associated with those parameters. So if I want to take wind and have that increase over the duration of that item, let's leave cover the same, but let's take rain and have that also increase. The storm is coming. And now when I play back that item, we can see that those parameters are being updated. We can hear that those parameters are being updated. So the reason why I've marked this one as in development is that the mechanics are all there. I've got, the JSFX gets inserted based upon the item's event, and the selected event. It gets all the parameters, it assigns their values. We're able to take those and read those values and send those over to FMOD to update those for that specific event instance, rather than if we had multiple of those events happening, it would only happen to the one that it was in relationship to. But it's a little bit buggy. The rate at which I'm getting updates of those parameters isn't quite working as expected. So this is kind of in development. There's still a lot here that I need to iron out to make this work the way that I want it to work. So those are all the updates and changes and bug fixes that have gone on in ReaMOD over the last week or so. And in a future video, I'll go ahead and provide a demo of kind of the current state of workflow for ReaMOD, so you can see what it's like to use this thing to create mockups for whatever you're working on. So hope you're excited about the progress that I've made so far, and I hope that this is starting to look like a product that would be useful in your workflow. If you've got any comments, thoughts, ideas, etc. about what you would like to see from ReaMOD and some features that would be really beneficial to your workflow, make sure you share those either in the comments below on this video or wherever you're finding this video, or you can contact me through my website. So cheers, see you all soon.